The president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, James Ohiminche, is calling for a probe into why expired products were kept at the facility. The former chief pharmacist and director of pharmaceutical services at the Ministry of Health says he's yet to come to terms with the reason for keeping expired drugs at the facility, since the law does not permit that. The fire destroyed items including medicines, equipment and furniture worth over 2 million Ghana cedis. My colleague Kwabna Chenchenhinebwatin earlier said the fire is yet to be fully extinguished, and he joins us online now to update us whether the fire has been fully extinguished now. Hello, Kwabna.
Hello, Gladys.
Give us what's happening now.
Well, like I mentioned early on, the fire is almost out. The fire officials here are still trying to fight the fire with they can. In fact, I told you earlier that for the extreme right, the right segment of the building, the fire is just about 95% out, almost 95% out totally. They've actually been able to fight that particular one. We are told they are at the final stage they call the suppression stage, where they open the system up and soak it with water and a foamy compound, a foamy substance also, we are told is the compound they use. So that is the stage they are currently. But not too long ago, the Ghana Pharmaceutical Society, were actually a team from that particular association was here, led by the former chief pharmacist and director of pharmaceutical services of the Ministry of Health, was actually here. I mean, I'm speaking of James Ohiminche. He held that particular portfolio as former chief pharmacist as well as the former director of pharmaceutical services. And he has been engaging the media. He has been engaging the media on a number of things. He's been speaking to us on certain things that have happened. A question was posed, for instance, as to whether he was aware that there were some expired products there, and if he was aware, whether that was the norm, whether it is allowed for expired products to be kept in such a facility, probably mixed up with goods that are not expired. So we can't take James Ohiminche now, who has been speaking to the media on that particular subject.
Heard about the fire outbreak at the Central Medical Stores, and we have come to see for ourselves the situation. You know, the intention of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is that after seeing what has happened, there will be a stakeholder meeting to discuss how best the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana can support the government, mitigate the effects of the fire outbreak. Honestly, I'm extremely... When we talk about, so far, when we talk about the loss, I think that people look at it in terms of the essential medicines, the non-drug medical consumables, the equipment. But I am looking also at the infrastructure, because I know the terrain very well. I know the storage sites, the giant storage sites, you know. I remember that even in 2002, the place was refurbished, and a lot of money went into it. You know, so I think that we do not have to look only in terms of the contents, you know, but even the infrastructure is very important. So I'm really upset. And if you look at the loss, then I think that all of us must weep for Mother Ghana.
Do you think someone in particular could be held accountable for this inferno?
Well, I know that the Honorable Minister of Health has set up a committee, you know, to investigate. He has asked the National Security to investigate. So I don't think I can say that. Let's wait for the outcome of the investigation. And if he is found culpable, well, he can face the full rigors of the laws of the land.
You spoke of
affected the other section. You spoke of the fact that some anti-TB medicines had also been banned. You expressed shock at that, and you actually said it was what, disastrous?
Well, you see, TB management requires continuous use of medication. So if there is a break in the medication, it can lead to what we call MDR-TB, multi-drug resistant TB, and that is difficult to manage. Even in the advanced countries, it's quite expensive. How much more, a third world country like Ghana? And that was why I expressed that surprise and regret.
Really looking at the fact that the ministry has come out to mention that they have stock that could last for at least 3 months, and looking at the TB hazard that you raised, what could the implications be?
Well, by policy, as I said, I worked in the ministry for a long time. By policy, the central medical stores is supposed to stock or hold 12-month stock of all essential medicines. The regional medical stores is supposed to hold at least 6 months of all essential medicines. And the hospitals and other delivery sites are supposed to stock 3 months they are supposed to hold 3 months stock of all essential medicines. And therefore, in the next 3 months, I don't foresee any per se, because I believe that they will have at least 3 months of TB medication. But the Honorable Minister has also come out to say that contingent measures will be put in place to bring essential medicines, including anti-TB medicines, to support the healthcare system. But from here, as a key stakeholder, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is a key stakeholder of the Ministry of Health. So we are also going to have a stakeholder meeting to see the sort of support we can give to government and the good people of Ghana. And this will be looked at.
This facility has directly been under you one way or the other for some time now. Not directly, but it has been under you.
But we've all benefited from, I'm talking about my facilities, because before coming here, I was Deputy Director of Pharmaceutical Services, in Ashanti region, in Western region, and this is where we came for our medications and other non-drug medical consumables.
Do you know whether or not it's the norm to actually keep products here, whether expired or not here?
Hi, Chanchahine, are you there?
Yes, go ahead, I'm here.
Yes, so it's been a couple of minutes already. Has the fire been completely extinguished now?
Not so. The fire hasn't been completely put out. Like I mentioned earlier, since around 10 a.m., they have been fighting the fire the best way they can. They put out, if you have to scale it on a 100% table, at this stage, the fire has been contained to about 90%. You just have just hits of fire around, and they are fighting those ones as and when such things happen. And mind you, about the expired drugs that came up in the interview with Mr. Heminche.
Yeah.
As a matter of as a result of the things we actually saw, and as you will recall, 2 days ago, we actually brought samples of the drugs we had
on our 8 p.m. Yes.
Yes, indeed, 8 p.m. We brought some drugs there, including some infusions, which were expired as far back as 2008. They were all here. They were all found in the blaze. So it leaves room for concern. So I'm sure that's how come that call came in.
Okay, so apart from that, what more are the officials talking about?
Well, there aren't too many officials around today. There aren't too many of them. I've just seen one government vehicle, but that has even left the premises. It was here for about an hour or so. I don't know whether it belongs to the National Security Operative. I've seen one particular National Security Operative who's been here since Tuesday.
Okay.
I've seen him around. But other than him, I haven't really seen so many people. In fact, even for the the top personnel of the fire service who were here yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I haven't seen any of them here today. That shows to a very large extent the level to which they've actually been able to manage the fire. They don't see this now as such a big issue as it was some few days ago.
All right, Kwabena, thank you so much. We'll keep coming to you for more updates. Kwabena Chenchenhene is my colleague. He is our correspondent on ground at the Central Medical Store in Tema, where the fire is yet to be completely extinguished. MP for Salaga South and a ranking member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Alhaji Abubakar Ibrahim Day, has said that all persons and institutions responsible for the Central Medical Stores which caught fire on Tuesday have failed. Speaking on the AM show, he noted heads must roll as Ghana has lost property worth over 200 million Ghana cedis.
Fighting fire is a collaboration effort. All of us are supposed to go to it. Fire service were saying that they also have no excuse to give, because they are supposed to inspect all those buildings once in a while, quarterly, to find out whether they meet the measures, the standard measure of these things. They have also failed in their duty. If those people couldn't do it, they have a responsibility in their act every quarter to go to all the critical institutions, investigate to find out whether they are meeting the standards put on. Did they do that? We should find out. If they fail to do that, then somebody must pay the price and go on. Then when you come to the other collaboration like water, who are also complaining, they also have a responsibility, because these are critical institutions that are going around. Did they have the adequate, the hydrant, have the water supply in that place? They must also check out. The fire service were saying that they also have no excuse to give, because they are supposed to inspect all those buildings once in a while, quarterly, to find out whether they meet the measures, the standard measure of these things. They have also failed in their duty. If those people couldn't do it, they have a responsibility in their act every quarter to go to all the critical institutions, investigate to find out whether they are meeting the standards put on. Did they do that? We should find out. If they fail to do that, then somebody must pay the price and go on. Then when you come to the other collaboration like water, who are also complaining, they also have a responsibility, because these are critical institutions that are going around. Did they have the adequate, the hydrant, have the water supply in that place? They must also check out. The managing director of the water there, or the regional manager in charge of that area, is supposed to. You see, people sit down, they don't work in this country, they get paid. That is the problem. They sit down and they don't work. And when issues like this happen, sometimes with inaptitude, or they're just inefficient, whatever they are doing, and go on. And therefore, I think that somebody must be made to pay for this, what has happened, to serve as a deterrent, so that, you know, the reason why, if you take our institutions and other institutions, when you commit such a crime, let's say in another jurisdiction, even if it's 100 years, you'll be punished, to serve as a deterrent, that somebody know that, look, what I did, they'll always trace me and I'll get go on. But here, people get away. So Kwame has that. There was Kofi saying that if Kwame has that, get away, what should I also do?
His colleague MP for Bibiani and Nyaso Bekwai, Kinsley Jedu Abuaje, who was also on the AM show, supported views that those in charge of overseeing the facility should be punished. Jedu noted it's high time government stopped setting up committees to investigate people and institutions which flout the law and rather bring them to book.
Travel outside this country, live for 6 months and come back. You see that there's every single thing wrong with our system. Everything is wrong. But I keep asking, who is going to do the correction?
Who should be doing? I shall ask you.
It should be the leadership.
And leadership is who?
Leadership changes everything. And that is why the politics come in. Because at the end of the day, we live in a country where people, like my ranking member is saying, people break their laws and they go scot-free. Who has a duty to enforce the law? And if he doesn't do it, who has the duty to ensure that he does what he's supposed to do? If that doesn't happen, we keep saying that, oh, we want the systems to work. How can the systems work if people are not punished for their misdeeds, for their act of omissions and commissions? That is how systems are built. But if you have a country where people flout the law, and all we hear is that we've set up a committee, and there's that axiom in politics that if you want to hide anything, just set up a committee. By the time the committee report comes, it goes through a whole lot of process. It ends up on the shelves.
It's
nothing. That's all. Because, and issues upon issues. Today we are discussing this. I can bet my last penny. By next month, another issue has cropped up. We put this one aside. We go to the next one. So we are we are fast becoming a country of discussions or discussants, but no action. For Christ's sake, if the immediate pass for Minister for Health called for audit, how long does it take to get auditors to do this? I am an auditor myself. I know how things work. If indeed he wanted to be firm, he could have contracted an auditor within 2 weeks to start an audit. And that tells you that, I mean, everything was not going on well there. And how come Ministry of Health is supposed to have an internal audit, or there is an internal audit agency that is supposed to have a rep at such a sensitive place? Were they there? If they were they sleeping on the job? So there's a whole lot of people that should have resigned by now. But I bet you nobody will resign.
One thing that is becoming evident in this fire outbreak is the keeping of expired drugs at the central medical stores. I have online now Thomas Amedro. He is the head of drugs enforcement at the Food and Drugs Board. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you, madam.
How are expired products treated and discarded?
Expired products, we have a procedure for it. First of all, when the products expire, you take inventory, you check the quantities that are involved, and then you make sure they are secured at your premises, that nobody will profile it, or it will not be inadvertently added to usable stocks. And then you write to the FDA. The FDA will come and confirm the inventory, and then we make arrangements for the disposal. We also have to recommend the mode of disposal, every type of drug and the way it should be disposed of, so that the environment can be protected, and also people around and water bodies can also be protected. So we have that procedure in place. Once we've agreed on the mode of disposal, then we arrange with the waste disposal site, and then we fix a date, and then we go and supervise the disposal.
In the case of the expired drugs at the central medical stores, what procedure did they have to go through? We are told that we have some expired drugs as far as 2002. I mean, what were they supposed to have done?
Yeah, the central medical source is also just like any other person holding expired drugs. It's the same procedure. They also equally have to write to us, and then we go through the same process of taking inventory and then recommending the mode of disposal, and also subsequently supervising the disposal. And I remember the last time we organized a disposal for the Central Medical Source was in 2012.
So let me also find out, in the case where you are not written to, does it mean that the general public stands the risk of accessing those expired products so long as the company decides to put them on the market?
Not necessarily, because we conduct routine inspections of all manufacturers and importers of medicines. And so when we get to your premises also, one of the requirements is the dedicated place you have for expired or unwholesome articles. So we also inspect that, we check on the records on them, we also ascertain the security of those stocks. And if you have not written to us after that time, we recommend that you immediately write to us so that we make the arrangements, start the process for the disposal of those unwholesome stocks. So it is not necessary that anybody having expired products will push it onto the unsuspecting consumer, because the arrangement is that anytime you even check that a product has expired, you quickly take it out of the stock and put it at a secure place, and those are some of the requirements we insist on when we go on inspection.
The drugs, expired drugs, as far back as 2012, and you also tell us that the last time you conducted such an exercise was in 2012. Does it mean that is why the drugs have been kept there till now?
Yes, it is for them to notify us that they have this stock of expired drugs and that they want it to be disposed of. Then the process starts from there. And so, as far as we can remember, 2012 we conducted that exercise for them. They have not since notified us of any expired drugs yet.
Oh, so are you going to hold anyone responsible?
hold anyone responsible for
the expired drugs that are being kept there till date, 2012.
No, there is no problem with expired drugs. If you have expired drugs at your premises, it's not a criminal thing, it's not a bad thing. The only thing is that you make sure it is secured so that it is not added either intentionally or unintentionally to the usable stock so that it dispensed to the unsuspecting consumer. So long as you ensure that the product is secured and it will not be used, and then we don't have a problem with that. So you are only holding up your space because you don't have enough space to hold usable stock. But having expired drugs at your premises is not a criminal thing, but making sure that it doesn't go to the consumer, whether knowingly or unknowingly.
Accidents do happen, so if it's not a crime to handle it within your premises, it equally can mix up with what is new and current, and it would find its way out to consumers.
That is why we talk about security of such stuff. You must have a dedicated place where it is secured and it's only accessible to authorized persons. Then you can be sure that it is safe at such a place.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Amedro, for your time here. We have been talking to Mr. Amedro. He is the commissioner at the FDA. He is been telling us about the implications in keeping expired drugs and whether they will hold anyone responsible. He's not sure as of now if they would, because there's no criminal realities there yet. The suspended commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, has dismissed assertions that she should have jumped before she was pushed in her first public comments after her suspension from office by the presidency. Loretta Vivienne Lamptey, it would have been the height of irresponsibility to have resigned. That's according to her. She spoke on the morning show, Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
Okay. What I'm asking you is that in light of how this cast such a shadow over Shraj, which is an institution tasked with administering justice, administrative justice, did you not at any point during the proceedings feel that perhaps it would benefit Shraj if you chose voluntarily to step aside to save its reputation?
All right. No, I thought that would have been completely out of order. If you're the head of an institution and there's an accusation, and particularly since both myself and my deputies and pretty much anyone involved in the housing and these matters in Shraj, since we all understood it to be Shraj transaction. So first of all, there was a little confusion about why it was being looked at as the commissioner. And therefore, for me, it's my institution, since I was confident that in an audit or any kind of investigation, it would be clear that these were not personal decisions. And therefore, if there was something wrong with the rental, and if there was something improper, it would be the commission. And it would not be proper for me to step aside and leave the commission with that attack, that criticism. I thought that it was very important, first of all, to have an audit, because that's actually the only way to clear the name of both an institution and an individual. And that, to step aside and then have it not be investigated, I never even contemplated it. That's like hearing that there's a mess. You're supposed to be in the center, and you don't want to stay and make sure that that mess is cleaned up or shown to not be a mess. I thought it would be highly irresponsible to basically say, I cannot stand the criticism, so I'll step aside. It would not have protected Shraj, because any audit would have shown that it was the commission, and therefore if something was wrong with the process, the procedure, or the amount, if there was no basis for the amount of the rent, if any of the things that were being said about me were actually then being said about the commission, it would be very unfair if we didn't make sure there was an investigation so that the commission's name was cleared. And that's why I didn't resign at the beginning. Obviously, if there hadn't been an immediate call for an audit, and this kind of damage was continuing to be done in a vacuum, I don't know. But because the Auditor General immediately recognized that, if there are accusations of financial malfeasance, misappropriation of funds, this is an audited institution. There must be an audit. And he immediately announced the special purpose audit So we at Shraj all breathed a sigh of relief and said, this is the only way to clear this. And if we are found, if we are told that something was wrong that we're not aware of, that for the past 10 years the commission has been doing, then so be it. But let an outside body look at it based on what Shraj needs to be the rules and what has been the practice, and let them say. So that immediately meant that I could certainly not resign if there was going to be an audit.
Right.
I mean, in private sector, you actually would not even be allowed to resign if you're accused of something. Then there's an audit, you must stay.
Right, so we have been joined online by Richard Nyama. Richard Nyama is one of those who petitioned to the president to have the Shraj boss sacked. Hello, Richard. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Yeah, so what do you make of the latest comments by the Shraj boss? She never considered resignation.
To be frank with you, I was surprised to hear Madam Loretta talking on radio this morning on this matter. Because my thinking was if she had anything to say, she may have already said it in the media. She had an extensive interview with Daily Graphic. After that, granted a lot of interviews to radio stations. And then beyond that, she has been to the committee. At least I'm aware the Chief Justice copied her my petition. She reacted to that. And the committee has started hearing. Now, she seems to be speaking to the core matters or substance of the case. And I'm wondering why, who is advising her, if she has any lawyers at all. And if she's not, she's a lawyer herself. I don't expect her to start discussing the merits of the case in the media when the committee just started its hearing. Be that as it may, for me, I'm happy she has suspended. That makes me very sure I would have a fair hearing before the committee. But a few things baffle me in her interview when she says that she thought that the property was ready and that she could have moved in the state in which it was, and more or less implying that Shraj forced it on her. Listen to the whole interview from beginning to end, then she's blaming everyone else but herself. How can you, the boss, be satisfied with the property and yet your estate officer will overrule your decision and go ahead and do the renovation? She then goes on to blame an ombudsman and blame Emmanuel. For me, that is a sign of a sinking person. It's too late for her to salvage her image if she cares to know. The public has made its mind up. What she did or has done is not the best. And it's too late in the day to be talking, seriously. If I was her, I would reserve whatever comments I have and make my case at the committee. Because
Makes it clear. Hello, Richard. She also makes it clear that she approved the rent charges for her Plush AU residents.
Yes, no, that is the point. Because if you listen to her, for me, all that she did was to come and implicate herself and exonerate herself. And that's why I was thinking she would have reserved all those things for the committee instead. Because coming to publicly affirm that you are the boss of Shraj and that you signed off the rent charges for the AU village. I listened to her in the interview. She says it's 4,200. Yes, I am aware it is 5,500 including her utility bills. So why will she go to that extent, implicating herself? Because if you signed it, at the end of the day, you have not exonerated yourself. Saying that someone else forced the decision on you. They bring it and then you found it convenient. If it was me, in the first place I saw the property and I thought it was okay by my standard, I would move in no matter what the estate officer thinks.
Exactly.
Secondly, if they brought me a check or this thing to sign to the tune of 5,500 for the AU village, and I thought it was exorbitant, especially at the point where Shraj was having difficulty. If you having trainings and having hearings, having sittings to hear administrative issues, I would refuse to sign that check and say, go and get me a cheaper property.
I see.
If you had the heart of, Shraj was at your heart, or the expenditures of Shraj were an issue that bothered you.
Wow. We thank you so much, Richard. Richard is one of those who petitioned the president to have the Shraj boss suspended. In a moment, Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak were not ranked among the top 500 clubs in the world in the year 2014. To find out why, stay on. Rashida Kadiri Baba comes shortly to give you sports.
Good afternoon, my name is Baba Tando. Let's talk sports. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak were not ranked among the top 500 clubs in the world in the year 2014. The ranking, which was released by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics, IFHHS, did not have Ghana's two most glamorous clubs ranked among the best clubs in the world. Their absence was due to the current poor showing on the African continent. So earlier today, we hit the Accra Hearts of Oak Secretariat and we met the administrative manager, Hakman Edu, and he happened to have an interaction with us, telling us what he thinks are the reasons why Hearts of Oak and Kotoko were not ranked among the top 500 clubs in the world.
It's very bad in the first place because looking at the level or the name of Hearts of Oak and considering the height of Ghana football, it will be very bad for this to happen to teams in Ghana, especially Hearts of Oak and probably Kumasi Asante Kotoko. This may be attributed to so many problems, including the economy itself, because the economy is so bad that, you know, you and I know that the players will always have to travel outside Ghana to make life good for them. And as they keep on going, every season you see a number of players. Even this season, House of Oak, we lost two of our key players, Nuru Sule and Kobna. Now, these are players who could have maybe helped House of Oak this season, but they are gone because of the economic situation we are talking about. So this is the major problem the economy or the football industry is facing in Ghana here. And probably maybe other factors, including management and a few other things. Yeah, we can improve when, one, the economy improves so that the teams can pay their players well to keep them. If you remember, in 2000, House of Oak were able to win the Champions League because Ishmael and co were around. Yeah, they stayed because probably the team was able to meet their demands, and once they stayed on, the team also excelled. But here we are, teams are struggling. Look at what is happening now. The league, which should have started about 3 months ago, delayed up to today. We are starting this weekend, and as it is, financially the teams are down. So probably when the players see any opportunity elsewhere, they have to force their way through. That is what is happening. So I think when the economy improves, when football in Ghana in general improves, the financial aspect of the game improves, I think we can keep our players, and then we'll get back to the height that we were.
Now, both clubs, Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Hearts of Oak, however, failed to make the top 10 clubs in Africa, having failed to make a mark on the continental scene. The rankings released on Wednesday saw current European champions Real Madrid lead the chart with accumulated points of 38,100, followed by German giants Bayern München, Spanish side club Atletico de Madrid, Barcelona, and Colombian champions Club Atlético Nacional complete the top 5. Now let's get onto the phone lines and get a reaction from Chief Executive Officer of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Opoku Inti. Hello, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Now, Hearts of Oak, as you may well be aware, Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko did not make the top 500 clubs in the world. Now, first of all, what's your reaction to this?
Well, thank you, Barbara. And what can I say?
They have already made the rank, and I think it tells us that we should back up. We should do our homework. We should fight also to come into it again. The downfall of a man is not the end of his life. For me, I believe that it's an opportunity for Kotoko and Haas to make impact this year if you want to be among of this category. So we take in the good faith and pray that we will back up, we will fight hard, we will make impact this season, both teams, so that we will register our names in the world soccer scene.
But Mr. Opoku-Nti, don't you also think that it's because there's very little quality in your side, so that you can be able to make impacts in Africa, like you're saying?
Very little quality.
I mean,
well, this is what we have, and so we have to make best out of it. We need to strategize well. We need to technically or management side, everything, we need to put extra effort. This is what we have. You get me? So yes. What can we do? In Ghana here, I think Kotoko has the best players. We have done well this season. Our recruitment is we have got the best from all the clubs to assemble them in Kotoko. So this is what we have. Whether it's not enough, I believe this is what we have now. So we have to make good use of what we have.
Mr. Opoku-Nti, thanks very much and wish you all the best. But before we let you go, what do you make of the pitch of the Baba Yara Sports Stadium? Do you think it's ready for the start of the league this Sunday?
This one I'm begging the whole nation, the president, and who is in charge, the electricity people, that they should take a second look at the situation, because other than that, the football everyone enjoy, both Kotoko and Haas, going to Africa with this pitch, I don't think even the CAF will allow us to play on this pitch. Something has to be done. And it's not the fault of these two clubs. Why do we suffer for it? So please, we are begging, we are pleading that something has to be done. Things have to change. It's about the electricity that they will get water to pump, to put water on the field. And it has to be done. The government has to step in. They have to do something to change the situation. Other than that, it's a disgrace to the whole nation.
So will Kotoko go ahead and play on it like that in the current state? Hello, Opoku-Nti.
Hello?
Will Kumasi Asante Kotoko go ahead and use the pitch in its current state?
If it will work, but I don't think it will work. I don't think it's possible.
So
how
what's
can
your
you
alternative?
play on this pitch?
So what's your alternative?
And where are you going? We are not. The whole pitch in Ghana here is the same. So I don't know. But as for the CAF, maybe the league, we are still doing something if it will work. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know. Then the PLB or the GFA has to postpone the sentence where the pitch is not good.
Opoku-Nti is Chief Executive Officer of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We'll move away from club issues and go ahead to Equatorial Guinea, where a sports journalist, Yao Mpofo-Ankara, is standing by. He is actually in Mongomo, the city in which the Black Stars of Ghana, together with Senegal, South Africa and Algeria, will be based for the group phase of the 2015 Orange Africa Cup of Nations. Hello, Yao. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Yao. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hi, Yao. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Have you learned some Spanish? Otherwise, let me say muy buenos tardes.
Yeah. Rashida.
Got you right there.
Merci beaucoup. You know, they speak French and Portuguese, a combination, as well as the local, what I would call a French-Spanish pidgin language. So whichever one it is. Yes, you're welcome. And the Black Stars have indeed arrived. In fact, not too long ago with Bafana, they're staying in the same hotel, the Abayak Mongomo. That is where they're staying. So The two teams are in the same hotel, and it's going to be interesting to see how they bond ahead of their big game. Senegal and Algeria are also staying at another hotel not too far away, but definitely the atmosphere is building up to what should be a very interesting African Cup of Nations.
I see. Yeah, yesterday you were in you are at the pitch, the Mongomo Stadium, where the Black Stars, together with their other Group C opponents, will be playing, and you happened to be there when the president of Equatorial Guinea paid a surprise. Was it a courtesy call? Let me put it that way. When he came there, I mean, what was his mission there, and how did it go?
Well, actually, we were just getting about our business, setting up to do usual background footage and reporting when all the vehicles were told to leave the perimeter of the stadium, so they had to go and park outside. It was then that we realized there was quite a huge police and military presence and a motorcade, and then we were told the president was arriving. So where we were, we could not leave. So basically the president arrived and walked right past us, and luckily we were able to follow right throughout the stadium, where he conducted his tour for about 30 minutes. Heavy security presence, but apparently that is what he's been doing at every venue. So the president of Equatorial Guinea is really getting really interested. He's playing a critical role, a central role in this tournament. He's not just an observer, as it were. He wants to know exactly what's going on. And to be fair, I think the infrastructural work that has been done over the past few weeks, or let's say 2 months, is incredible. I mean, you will see that stadium when the pictures are relayed back to the world when the matches are played. It's a fantastic edifice, and the grass is sublime. So I think they've done very well. And the country, at short notice, seems to be really gearing up for this tournament. An opportunity, perhaps, to once again advertise, their brand.
Yeah, again, in Mongomo, how are the people, I mean, the citizenry over there, how are they prepared? How are they psyched for the start of the tournament?
That's a very good question. Obviously, their national team, not much is expected of them, but you do sense that, the fact that they're hosting the rest of Africa with this prestigious tournament, it brings a sense of pride. And gradually, you do see a lot of young men and women in the national jerseys of Equatorial Guinea. But they do know, obviously, they will not win the tournament, but they hope to have a better outing than they did the first time around. I think it's more about hosting well, doing better than last time, and selling Equatorial Guinea again as an international destination. The talks of, dictatorship and human rights abuses have been put to one side for now. And I think it's one of the reasons why Equatorial Guinea has been so keen to also project another side away from the negative that often is portrayed of this country, many would say, by the Western media. So for the people here, yes, they're happy to see Ghana, South Africa, Cameroon, Mali, all the teams that are here. Cheer them on.
I mean, do you feel the buzz? Do you feel the euphoria from where you are?
Well, not euphoria. That would be...
It's rather unfortunate we've lost Yampo for Ankara on the phone lines, but we've been speaking about what's happening in Equatorial Guinea ahead of the start of the Orange Africa Cup of Nations, Equatorial Guinea 2015 tomorrow. Now, just before I go, the Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Mahama Yariga, on behalf of government and the people of Ghana, they've sent a goodwill message to the senior national team, the Black Stars, ahead of their campaign in AFCON 2015. Now, in his message to the team, the minister calls on all to put behind the past, psych themselves for the task ahead, and use this tournament to end the trophy drought that Ghana has experienced for the past 3 decades and over. Now, the minister also took the opportunity to urge the technical and management teams of the Black Stars to ensure the playing body is well conditioned and prepared physically, mentally, psychologically ahead of the competition. And Honorable Mahama Yariga requests Ghanaians to remember the Black Stars in their prayers as they seek a 5th AFCON trophy. So that'll do it for sports for now. My name is Baba Tando. Remember that we'll come your way with some special AFCON series on this particular channel, the Joy News on Multi TV. It's called Soccer Rocks, and it will begin on Monday. So do stay tuned every weekday at 2 p.m. It will roll on your screens. And don't miss out because there's a lot to come your way. Gladys is back with the rest of the news. Have a good afternoon.
The Minister of Finance has hinted the 2015 budget projection might not be realized as a result of the declining rate of crude oil price on the world market. According to him, they might go back to Parliament to review their projections in the crude oil continues to record low rate on the world market. The current Brent crude price has fallen from $99.376 per barrel to $48.80, a decrease of more than 50%. He was addressing the press on the current state of the economy.
We are making some proposals for the amendments of the PRMA to allow for more flexibility, in areas such as this. But it also tells you that between the time of preparation of the budget, which started around September and now, we have seen the steep decline. This obviously has implications, not just for transport, fares, but for other things as well. With a continuous decline in crude oil prices since September 2014, the estimated petroleum revenue price of 99, which I just stated, may not be achieved. And this can have negative implications for the budget. In fact, we are calculating the numbers, and it's estimated that we know that definitely there will be a decline in the annual budget funding amount, which was put in the budget on the revenue side of, of the budget. Let me state, however, that the falling crude oil price will have a mixed impact. I just mentioned one. The figures that we use on the revenue side in the budget will be impacted. We've been discussing in the media the impact, on automatic adjustments and the reduction in price. That would affect, the subsidy, that is paid. The low crude oil price would impact, for example, on the reserves or balance of payments side, the import bill for the country. It means that we will use less foreign exchange to import the same amount of crude. On the other hand, the slowdown, the low price would also affect, output and therefore receipts. So you have to take all these together.
Ashanti Regional Security Council is reintroducing Operation Cowleg in a renewed effort to evict Fulani herdsmen and their cattle from Agogo area. Details of the measure are yet to be made public, but officials say a joint police-military task force will be deployed to ensure successful execution.
Say that what I heard in the air, that chances, because I don't really, if you want to grab them away from this place, they will definitely come back when the weather come to this stage.
So how soon?
Because we're going to sit down and then draw a roadmap by reactivating the Operation Cowleg. They will have to be here. It's a combined team of the military and the
are coming your way with this edition of News Today. My name once again is Gladys Osei Oredu. Thank you so much for your time.